This is a Yamaha HTR-5460. It has a fairly common problem on surround receivers, and that is you turn it on and it shuts back down. Most of your modern receivers have pretty sophisticated protection circuits, and certainly this applies to Yamahas. Let's give this a quick look. And it shuts back off. Now, if it was a high current shutdown, the display never would have even come on at all. So we know it's a DC problem of some sort, either in the amplifier or power supply. And regulated power supply problems can cause DC offsets in the amplifier, which is in fact what this is doing. I've already been into this receiver looking at it. It has anywhere from 15 to 20 volts DC offsets on all channels, which tells us, of course, that the problem's not specific to any one amplifier channel, but it's something that applies to all of them. Typically this will be caused by a missing voltage somewhere in the regulated power supply stage. Occasionally it'll be from the loss of a ground reference somewhere, so that your DC voltages are floating, but usually it's just from a missing DC level. And let's cut to the tape. Okay, and here we're taking some voltage readings on this Yamaha HTR-5460. Pin 3 of these regulators are usually the output, so here's negative 12 volt regulators okay, plus 12 volt regulators okay, negative 5 volt regulators okay, plus 5 volt regulators okay, another plus 5 volt regulators okay. Now the problem on this receiver, if you'll recall, every channel has a DC offset. In this case about 15, 20 volts, etc. Okay, and continuing, we have a bias voltage, negative VV, and we'll show a picture of that. Should be about negative 12 volts. Appears to be missing, and that's available on this connector right down in here. As you can see, if that's supposed to be negative 12 volts, it is missing. That is generated on this board here, and we'll have a picture of that as well. And it's going to be either a shorted Zener diode or a shorted capacitor, and we'll let you know. Now, as I recall, these things are major disassembly to get to this stuff. It's been a while, but that's my recollection anyway. Actually, I think I have another way of doing this. Hang on. Have to protect this from getting scratched if I'm going to lay it up here. Okay, it's pretty good. capacitor is. Just a moment. Okay, and the capacitor that I'm interested in is right here, C268. At this point I'm still betting on the capacitor, but it could be that Zener diode. We've got about 8 ohms across there. But like I say, they've been having, over the last several years, some trouble with some 47 and 100 mic caps on some of their models, and so I'll be unsoldering that and taking a closer look. Once again, wetting down the ROHS solder with real solder. Seems to help it out a little bit in the desoldering process. One thing I have seen on these capacitors, when you desolder them and you start moving the leads around, sometimes your short or partial short goes away. Because they're just that intermittent internally because of the way the layers are inside the capacitor. So we'll see in a moment. 8 ohms. Bad capacitor. How about that, huh? I hear myself saying, how about that? A lot on these tapes. I feel kind of silly every time I hear myself say that. I need a new catchphrase. Of course, there could be a burned resistor associated with that now. Let's see. I don't really think so. So we'll put it back together and see. Kind of nice that YouTube has dispensed with their 10-minute limit on videos, so I don't have to edit quite so severely, as long as I can keep it semi-interesting at least. Then we're in good shape. Okay, now. Uh-oh. Did it again. Talk about warts and all. Could be early onset Alzheimer's. Gosh, I hope not. Still able to work so far anyway. Except I can have a really crabby attitude. See, it's become kind of a joke around the shop. These are pretty much designed for one use only, is the problem. These flat wires. Doesn't take much to mess them up. And as we say, you'll know when I know. Let's give her a try. Ta-da! Of course, the rest will just be ordinary reassembly. This has been a repair brief by the Multimeter Junkie. Thanks a lot. Previously I was giving some troubleshooting voltages and so forth along with these voltage regulators, but I neglected to mention right here you have some live AC voltage. You really want to stay away from here, particularly if you have no training. And I keep hearing the voice of a man I respect very much.
Now, if all these objects are foreign objects to you, please put the cover back on the Yamaha on your bench and send it off to a service center.